Well, 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 my classy people. Today is post-draw and odds post for the Belmont Stakes, about 5 o'clock. Well, as always, of course, our tip sheets will be available for that Friday, Acorn Stakes Day, and the Belmont Stakes Saturday. The weather's going to be great. Trust me on this one, right? And they're 20 bucks each day. Buy both, $35. Email us at SpeedKing24 at yahoo.com and or text the office at 732-804-0637. Great way to support us. Hey, before I get going on this profile, I want to give my boy a shout out. DR, Mr. David Ramirez, right? The boy was out of town this weekend, so he missed out on the Love Gift tip sheets. We had a nice long shot in the third race at Churchill, the number 1 horse, first time started. What did we know? Well, we knew he was on the muscle a little bit. Anyway, so stay classy, y'all, and all that you do, and we're going to do a profile on the Belmont Stakes runners, and we've done 4 of them up to this point. And the only 2 that's left that we're really interested in doing a profile on are the 2 big horses, right? Journalism and, of course, Sovereignty. So we figured we'll do them together, right? We did Rodriguez, of course. We did Hills Road profile. We also did Heart of Honor, the Honor AP Cole. And we did Baeza, the Double BZ horse, you know, that horse that I said couldn't and can't win the Belmont Stakes. Not he can't win the Belmont Stakes, that he's not going to. Okay, that horse, that Baeza. And I never said that he wouldn't hit the board. There's only 5 other horses in the race. That's just silliness. But we're going to profile both of the top 2 contenders from a public standpoint together. Right? And I believe that's in order, and rightly so. So we're going to dive right into, let's start right in with the Derby winner, right? Well, the Derby winner, obviously, Sovereignty, the biblical horse, is a homebred of Godolphin, right here, silky blue. Bred and owned, trained by the classy Billy, my favorite trainer, along with Asmussen and of course the late great Bobby Franco. But he's trained by Billy Mott, by Into Mischief, and of course Bernardini, the great Bernardini, the late great Bernardini, for Godolphin. And Sovereignty don't need no introduction, and you don't need no public handicapper to give you Sovereignty or journalism. We want to get them before they become who they are. So obviously is the leading colt going into this race. 2 wins from 3 starts this year with 1 second. Overall, 6 starts, 3 wins, 2 seconds for $3.6 million. So again, okay, we know the body of work here. Ran a beautiful race in the Kentucky Derby, out finishing the reporter horse journalism. And deserves all the accolades that he is getting and is going to get, rightly so. Skip the Preakness, Billy Mott style, 4 to 6 weeks of rest. So last run on May 3rd, and it's going to run on June 6th. So that's about 5.5 weeks, fresh, fit, and fast. And Billy Mott's horses go forward. Godolphin horses go forward. And no one rolls off more wins than Billy Mott. See Cigar, see Cody Wish. I mean, you could just keep naming them, right? So he is a master conditioner, okay? And when you're training for an outfit like Godolphin, the best in the world, no, he didn't. I just told you, the best in the world, from running a organization and top breeding and horse racing outfit. There's none better, okay? The closest I could get is Jut Mott Farm. That's pretty good, too. But again, Sovereignty don't need no introduction, and it'll be one of the 2 favorites. Either him or journalism will be the favorite. I suspect 2 to 1, 8 to 5, one way or the other, right? So need no introduction, fresh, fit, and fast, skipping the Preakness. So again, that's Billy Mott's style. 4 to 6 weeks in between races. The horse is fresh, the horse is fit. We know he's bred top and bottom. His granddaddy is Bernardini, the late great Bernardini. And Into Mischief don't need no introduction as a sire. So again, Junior Alvarado's in the orange. I think it's going to be a dry track. And we expect this one to continue to improve. So rightly so, is going to be favored or co-favorite. No doubt about that. Okay? So that's Sovereignty. Need no introduction. Let's move to the counter of him, the Reporter Horse, who I have a lot of fun with, calling him the Reporter Horse, extra, extra, read all about it, write this down. Well, journalism don't need no introduction either. He is he's sired by one of my all-time greats, Curlin, right? Who I thought should have won the Kentucky Derby for Steve Asmussen. And looks like a sire of sire. I also thought Gunrunner should have won it for Asmussen. But journalism is bred top and bottom on the back end by Uncle Mo. Okay? Needs no introduction there. Fast. 3 wins this year. 4 starts. 1 second. Overall, 7 starts. 5 wins. 1 second. 1 third. Has never not hit the board, and that's probably not going to change, particularly in a 6-horse field, and he's being one of them in a 5-horse field. Top-notch horse. And to add injury to insult, he's trained by one of the best conditioners in the game today, Mike McCarthy, and one of the most classiest people you'll ever meet, Mike McCarthy. Just what a gentleman. Okay, I have nothing but love for him. And he's ridden by, of course, Respoli. Now, you know, again, another gentleman, classy brother, Respoli. I said going into the Derby and coming out of the Derby that they should think about changing Respoli, not because he's a bad rider, because his real big skill set, in my opinion, just humble, is on the turf. Nobody could ride better than Respoli on the turf. He reminds me of Jean-Luc Samin. No, he didn't go back in the archives. Or Gene Kruget. The boy could flat out ride on that grass, on that lawn course. Who? Respoli? Please. Y'all ever seen Jean-Luc Samin ride? Man, and Gene Kruget? So Respoli knows, how to do that. And he's gotten this horse in trouble a few times in the Santa Anita Derby, okay? And of course, in the Kentucky Derby where we've seen the jostling, I didn't think they should take him down or anything. I just think that's the way it is. Game 7, let the boys play. So no harm there. But journalism and sovereignty, the way that I look at them, see, each race is different. You may love one today and not hate them tomorrow, but not like them in the next race. But the reason I wanted to do these together, I think they're equal at this point. And here is why. Yes, I had Sovereignty as my top pick in the Derby. Obviously, Godolphin, Billy Mott, all things my way, and most of all, 7 or 8 to 1. Okay. But I think journalism Preakness race is going to actually help him in the Belmont Stakes. Okay, now I know the rest that Billy Mott's given Sovereignty is going to help him, but I think journalism gets a ton by returning in 2 weeks. Hats off to the connection, they ain't afraid. And now back in 3 weeks. So I think that moved him a little forward in his development. So I view both sovereignty and journalism equally. Okay, I just do. I think that Preakness race really moved him back or a little further along. Now, the question is, how much further along does Sovereignty develop off of the Kentucky Derby? It could be light years. We don't know yet. But if it's up to Billy Mott and Godolphin, he'll move forward. So I kind of view them in this match race, just, looking at those two, the same. Morning line, I did a morning line on them, and I made them both 8-5. 2-1 at best. So they'll be favored and co-favorite, and rightly so. They are leading the 3-year-old division hands down. Okay? It's not even close. So I think it could be a good race. I mean, I remember Furman and Aladar and Sham and Secretariat. I'm wearing Secretariat now. Ronnie Turcotte looking back 31 limbs later, right? You know what I mean? But I just view both of them going into this race as these babies, 3-year-olds, beautifully bred, coming from beautiful outfits, are even. Okay, I just see it that way. And I really think the Preakness really helped journalism move forward a bit. So, yay and nay, they're both going to be short prices. You're either looking at this race, one, in my opinion, from a fan perspective, he's my favorite horse, or this one's my favorite horse, or you're looking for at it from a wagering standpoint. Well, if you're looking for it from a fan standpoint, then we can laugh and joke and argue. But if you're looking for it from a wagering standpoint, there's not a lot of money to be made here. Okay, if they run 1-2 either way, journalism, sovereignty, journalism, you're looking at a $3-4 exacta at best. So, you got to figure out how you're doing this. Maybe this is a race to pass unless you have a strong opinion, or any opinion, about the other 4 or 5 that's going to enter in here. So I wanted to profile them. I don't think you can separate them by a speed figure or whatever. You say, well, SpeedKing, if you had to separate them, what would separate them? Well, I tell you this. Post position. Okay, is only 6. None of them really should lose ground. But I would say the one that has the inside post position would have a baby infinite edge. And that'll happen at 5 o'clock this evening. Okay? But it's so minute, I don't think you can separate them. The second way you can separate them is by odds. Okay? If you look around and sovereignty is 7-5, and you look around and journalism is 5-2, well, it's pretty clear to me. Take journalism. Why? Because you always take the bigger odds. Unlike most racetrack people, they're more comfortable with taking the favorite, right? I'm not me. If I'm between 2 horses, I'm going to always take the bigger horse first, odds-wise. Why? Well, I mean, if I got to risk my money, right? So that makes sense, right? So to me, this profile is just to confirm and reiterate what we all know. You don't need me as a public handicapper. You don't need nobody else as a public handicapper to give you these 2 horses. You have the Derby winner and the Derby runner-up, and subsequently the Preakness winner and the Derby runner-up in journalism. So, no, you ain't saying nothing by picking one or the other, right? We all know who they are. They are the top 2 3-year-olds in the country. Period. One won the first leg of the Triple Crown. The other won the second leg of the Triple Crown. The one that won the second leg of the Triple Crown ran second in the first leg. So it's clear. Okay? So again, either way, I don't know how you separate these 2 going here, as these baby 3-year-olds whose highly bred connections are continuing to develop. They only got 6 and 7 starts. They're not at their effective level yet. They're not at their top yet. There's more to come. And that's what we have to do as handicappers or evaluators, is realize that when you're dealing with babies, young horses, you have to look at how they're developing. Are they developing nicely and not making big jumps that could make them go backwards or regress or mess up their development? So these horses are continuing to improve. And these two, you would have to think, are going to continue to improve. And I don't see why 3 weeks would hurt journalism. Of course, 2 weeks didn't hurt him, coming off of 1.25 miles. So to be honest, he's got an extra week of rest. So we expect these two to lead the contingent in favoritism. Okay? I'm not going to make my top pick yet until the post positions come out. I do my data thing here on my database, right? Yeah, I can't hold it in my hand. I mean, I got it on the computer, but I can't hold it in my hand, which we paid an astronomy amount of money for it. I do what I do. So there is our profile. Let me know what you think, yay or nay, who you like and who you think could repeat the Preakness race or the Derby race, and how the sloppy track or dry track could play to either one of them's favorite. But it could be very well a match race 70 yards from home between the two. Because I know they're going to be watching each other down the backstretch and making their move off of each other. None of them should get in trouble. Mr. Respoli, you shouldn't be getting in trouble in a 6-horse field, even though you found a way to get in trouble in a 5-horse field in the Santa Anita Derby and giving Baeza a jump on you, and you still beat him, right? That's another conversation. So again, these horses will be tracking each other. The jocks will be watching what each other's do because they know who they got to beat for the most part. Okay, not to throw any shade on the other 4 or 5 contestants in here. Okay, so we do know who's the favorite and co-favorite one way or the other in here. Both of these horses should be favorite and co-favorite in here for sure. Don't look like it's a bunch of money in here. But, you know, I wanted to profile both of them and tip my hat to both of the connections. Okay, you know, the great job they did. Now, of course, I'm a Godolphin guy, right? But I'm not going to throw any shade on the reporter horse. He's handling his business. You know, he's handling his business for sure. And when you got Mike McCarthy doing the conditioning, you know, I expect, you know, the horse to continue to do what he's been doing. 5 wins out of 7 starts, 1 second and 1/3, never not hit the board. Yeah, so they're just going to wait for the top of the lane to both of them and try to outmatch each other coming home, in my opinion. Okay, for sure. Am I going to pick one of them to win the race? Well, I don't know. I have to see. I don't think so, though. But no, he didn't. I just say. The only thing your SpeedKing know about the Belmont Stakes, in my opinion, and I'll pull my ghost snapper hat down and tip it to him, that Baeza's not winning this race. And here's why I say that. You're going to tell me that this winner of 1, who's been beat both by the Kentucky Derby winner, the Kentucky Derby runner-up, and subsequently the Preakness winner, he's going to turn the table on both of them? I don't think so. Then you're going to tell me he's going to turn the table on Rodriguez, who smacked him around in a maiden race on January 5th by 7. Rodriguez was 50 cents to $1. He was 15 to 1. Okay? And again, I know they all continue to develop, and Baeza may prove to be the best 3-year-old in the country later. But I don't think he's developed enough to turn the table on what I consider the big 3 in here. Sovereignty, journalism, and of course, Rodriguez. Now, of course, Chad Brown got the X Factor and, you know, Hill Road, who we haven't seen since the Peter Pan. And Chad, you know he's a good conditioner. How much more did he go for? Okay, so again, there it is. Journalism and sovereignty profile. So what do we know? From my perspective, don't know who I'm going to pick to win the race. The only thing your SpeedKing really knows, I can't see Baeza winning this race. I just don't know how he turned the table on these horses. He's a winner of 1. He's beat maiden horses. And he's already got smacked around. Well, he's going to get better. Well, the other one's just going to stand still. They're going to get better too. You know what I'm saying? So we get it. Let's talk about the 2 profiles we did here on journalism and sovereignty. I think they're dead even. and I think they both should be 8 to 5.